Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
To use the brush tool, select it from the toolbox and make sure that the color you want to apply to the image is selected as the foreground color. The brush tool shares a spot in the toolbox with the Impressionist brush and the Color Replacement brush. The toolbox will display the last tool that you used. The button appears above the Paint Bucket tool by default. So click the button and then make sure that you have the brush tool selected within the Tool Options bar. Next, make sure that you've selected the appropriate layer to which you want to add the brush strokes within the Layers panel. The highlighted layer is the one to which the brush strokes will be applied. Oftentimes, if you are trying to apply an effect and it doesn't appear within the image, it's because you have the wrong layer selected within the image. Then, to use the brush tool, just click and drag with the circle that appears within the image to paint. The circle represents the width of your brush. If the lines aren't appearing as you wish, remember that you can reverse your steps in the History panel and try again. Look into the Tool Options bar with the brush tool selected. Here you can set different options that affect how the brush tool will interact with the underlying layer of the image. Once you've created a brush that you use frequently, you can save it as a preset tool that you can then access in the future with all of the brush options that you've already set. To do this, choose Edit from the menu bar and then choose the Preset Manager. You can use the Preset drop-down manager to select the brush preset. In this dialog box, you can select your brushes, rename, edit, and save brushes you create, and even load custom brush sets, such as those found in Teach-A-Comp Incorporated's Photoshop Brush Bonanza. Also note that clicking the More button allows you to change the display of the presets, changing the display to lists, thumbnails, or what have you. You can also control the size of the brush that you're using. You can use the brush size slider that appears in the Tools Options bar to set the width of the brush tip that you'll be painting. You can also type in an exact measurement in pixels into the box provided if you wish. You can also use the Mode drop-down to determine how the brush will apply the color and interact with the colors of the pixels that it is painting over. We will examine the different blending modes in the next lesson. You can also use the opacity slider to set the transparency level of the paint that you're applying by clicking and dragging on the slider to make an adjustment. If you want to use the current brush tool as an airbrush, then click the Airbrush Mode button in the Tools Options bar. This will allow you to apply gradual tones to an image, simulating an airbrush technique. You can click the Tablet Settings button to set preferences for what can be controlled with the pen of most pressure-sensitive digitizing tablets. These optional hardware devices allow you to paint with the pen tool in your hand instead of having to use your mouse and keyboard. You can click the Brush Settings button to imitate different brush strokes and effects by changing what is called the brush dynamics, which we will discuss in more detail in the next chapter. After setting your brush settings, just click and drag in your image to paint.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.